over the last 6 years, we've seen this transition. Like I said, I talked about it a couple years ago. Some people are still like, but Mark, it's gonna happen. I'm like, it's been 2.5 years. But let's take a look at a couple things. Now, the first thing I wanna show you is let's zoom out, and let's zoom out about 5 years, okay? We're gonna use this time frame. During the last 5 years, this is a chart of Bitcoin priced in US dollars. It's up 1,554%. So if you would have bought it here in 2018 and held it this whole time, you would have made 1,554%. And of course, it went up and down and up and down, way up and down, way up and down, up and down, and it's a volatile ride. But it's Ethereum priced in Bitcoin, it's a completely different chart. We can see that Ethereum made a new all-time high here priced in Bitcoin back in 2018. And we can see that it's never reclaimed its all-time high. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much just continued a downward trend, and it's down 84% from its all-time high made in 2018. That's why we looked at that period, okay? What this tells us is it's sort of like a pump and then a dump. It never is able to reclaim back its previous all-time high, okay? This is the king of alts. This is what everybody's waiting for this to move so everything else moves. Let's look at another one. You guys are gonna hate me for this one, but let's just take a look, and you can look at the chart, you can look at the data, and you can decide what you think. Okay, here we have this look like now. 2018, we made the high, it crashed, pumped, dumped, pump, 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 pump. And this right here is just one more pump. From its all-time high, we're currently down 90%. Now, before you get mad, this is the data, but I'm gonna show you where the real money is being made, okay? So if you wanna make money, I'm gonna show you that, but first you have to understand what's happening. I'm gonna tell you why this is happening in a second, but do you see what we're talking about here? Okay, now the reason why alts are dead is because of the nature of cycles. And we made a lot of money back then, right? Anybody been in that long? We've made a lot of money. But this was driven by retail, right? This was before the governments got in, before the Wall Street got in, before the institutions got in, it was retail. And we, the people, the retail, we had, you know, $1,000 to throw in, 5,000, some people were throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars in, and these coins were taking off, very small market caps. But in phase 2, we go from what's called the retail eruption phase to what's called the frenzy phase. Now, the frenzy phase is represented by institutional and sovereign demand. So instead of individuals throwing, while we're currently in phase 2, I'm gonna show you this, and I'm gonna show you what the strategy is moving forward. Now, we can see this again on another chart here, which kind of illustrates it. So what we have here in the gold line is Bitcoin, and the black line is cryptocurrency. And you can see how Bitcoin has completely distanced itself. And the reason why, again, is because cryptocurrency has thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars going into it. And over here, we have hundreds of billions going into it. And so it's just a completely different market. And the reason why is, again, because as we go through these phases, we have to have a different strategy. Now, 1971, we had the birth of the microprocessor. So when we're looking at Apple, we can see that there was 2 distinct phases, phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 1, Apple stock went up 1.4,933%. 1.4 million %. And most people, they sat on the sidelines, they watched that, and they said, oh, I missed out. Apple's too expensive now. Why didn't I invest earlier? I always miss out on these. I should have bought sooner. Oh well, I'll go find something else. But that's because they didn't understand that there's not one phase, but there's 2 phases. In phase 2, Apple went up another 151,000%. They sat on the sideline and watched dollars that have come into Bitcoin, just Bitcoin, year to date. We can see this is pension funds that have billions of dollars of allocations. This is sovereign wealth funds. These are nations that are bringing money in. We have giant corporations that are bringing money in. We have all these ETFs like the BlackRock ETFs coming in, and they're all bringing money into Bitcoin. Why is that? Well, they want to deploy billions of dollars. And there's only really one asset that's going to be able to hold billions of dollars. For example, if you look at the entire cryptocurrency market cap, there's about 16 million of them listed on Coin. Now, they have grown their Bitcoin holdings. Right here it says 500 76,000. As a matter of fact, now it's over 580,000. It's going up so fast we can't even keep up. 580,000 Bitcoin as of May 26, and they continue to raise billions of dollars to continue to put into more Bitcoin. And now they're taking that strategy and teaching all the other companies how to do that. Now, what's interesting about MicroStrategy doing this is it's beating Bitcoin itself. So we looked at the altcoins, Ethereum, XRP, the giants, and how they're actually losing money to Bitcoin. MicroStrategy, not priced in US dollars, is beating Bitcoin by 677% above Bitcoin. That's like what cryptocurrency used to do. That's what Ethereum and XRP used to do, but now it's happening to Bitcoin publicly traded companies. Okay, why publicly traded companies? It's because institutional companies need real institutional plays. What we can see is mining companies are doing this, tech companies are doing this, service providing companies are doing this, startups are doing this, and this is really creating what we're calling a Bitcoin treasury strategy revolution. All right, now, I sort of call these like Bitcoin derivatives because I'm not buying Bitcoin direct. All right, now the reason why is because institutions, if you're a sovereign wealth fund or you're a pension fund, you happen to need audited financials, you need public trading, you need real revenues, you need the company to follow like regulatory compliance. And so if you're going to deploy billions of dollars, they must follow these things. They must be real companies, and that's why we're seeing that. With cryptocurrency, what we had was white papers from who knows who. Now we have public company disclosures. We used to have no revenue. Now we have audited financials. Scare, we're back to about even. We've made no money in NASDAQ. We've made no money in the S&P 500. Let's look at Ethereum. Not since its all-time high, let's just look at it in the same period year to date. So since January of this year, we're down 32%. When alt season, right? We can look at another one. We can see here, this is a Bitcoin treasury strategy company, okay? Not priced in US dollars, but priced in Bitcoin. We can see this is up 1,337% in the same period. This is what we don't know exactly, but we can sort of take a look. So the first thing we can look at is these public companies, for example. They have to file and they have to project out what they're expecting to do. So we can look at some of the big ones like MicroStrategy or Metaplanet or Semler Scientific or Nakamoto or CEP, and we can see what they've announced as far as how much money they've raised and how much money they expect to deploy. And what we can see right here is here, MicroStrategy raised 10 billion, Metaplanet raised 5 billion, Semler has 500 million available, Naka has 700 million, CEP has 458 million. All of that is getting ready. And specifically, it's going into these Bitcoin treasury strategy companies. This is the new market cap. This is the new altcoin. This is the rotation. And if you want to understand how to get wealthy, you have to understand how money rotates from one asset to the next. And this is exactly where it's going. If you want to understand there's a whole new set of metrics, how do we even evaluate these things? How do we measure them? Well, there's terms like BPS and torque and Bitcoin yield and all these new strategies. If you want to learn all about that and how to evaluate and find these companies on your own, check it out. I'll put a link.
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.